Good afternoon. So we've got about 5 minutes, so we're going to get started. So I'm going to ask everybody that's out in the foyer to please come make your way in and find a comfortable seat, and we'll start in about 5 minutes. All right, we'll give everybody about 1 more minute to get settled, and then we'll get started. Did y'all enjoy your meal? Yes. So we thank Edible Edification for doing that. Just while I'm waiting, I give them a little plug. Brenda Ladd and her husband do this business here in Canton. It's a wonderful thing. It's homemade meals ready to eat, so you can order from their menu, go by and pick it up, take it home, put it in the microwave and heat it up. It's a great way to have dinner if you're busy and on the road. But also, what they do is folks will have those delivered to their moms and dads or someone that's shut in, not able to get out. You want them to have something different for dinner. You can call Edible Edification, and if it's in their delivery range, they will pick it up and deliver. He was telling me that they had one family that lived in Chicago, and their parents live here. And so they called them and said, hey, could y'all deliver a meal to mom and dad? And so they did. They prepared the meal, went over to the man's house, and he actually gave him the code to the garage door. He said, just put it in the refrigerator. So when they brought the food in and took it in the garage, he said, hey, and they visited and chatted for a little while. But a great company. So they're out there on the very left. If you did not get a chance to visit with Edible Edification, please go by and see them. So I want to thank everyone for coming this morning and this evening and being here with us. Wow, what a great turnout. If you attended our first session in June, you'll know this is substantially bigger than what we had in June. So I thank the vendors for coming out. We have some great vendors representing different services and products for senior adults. We have vendors here that will help you with legal affairs. An elder care attorney is here. We have someone here that does home repairs. There's a group right outside this door over here that will do home repairs for you. So go by and see them. Minor repairs if you're wanting to have doorknobs changed and things like that, so that it's a little more easy for mom and dad to get around the house. Those are good things. We have several groups here that represent home health care. One organization here actually works with doctors, and they can basically, the doctor can order labs. They will come to your house and do the lab work and then send that lab work to the doctor, so you don't have to go make a doctor visit. We have a company here that does transportation. If you need a ride to the doctor's office or a ride somewhere, not an ambulance service, they do transportation, so you need to check them out too. We have a couple of companies here that do hospice and palliative care, senior placement companies. We have one new vendor this time that does probate real estate preparation. So fascinating stuff what she does. So be sure you go by and visit her if you have not already. This was exciting to me. I had requested that we have a company that do this. There's a company out here, Christian, and his company. They have devices that you can put in your home that detect falls. So you can put these sensors in different places in your home, or if you're concerned about mom and dad and they're still living at home, you can have these devices put in their home, and if it detects a fall, that will automatically send a message to you and let you know that, hey, check on mom and dad. In addition, it also has their devices that are listening devices, and they can program them so if mom and dad are in the bathroom too long, that device senses no motion coming out of the bathroom, and that will cause them to call you or your brothers or sisters and, hey, check on mom and dad. So a lot of cool things out there that we might not normally know about. One organization over here does things to help you stay in the home a little bit longer. They provide stair lifts, either permanent or they'll rent it for a short time if you need it. So that's something that some of our seniors find themselves needing. And one company offers funding for long-term care, and other insurances. So talk to him. So let me introduce myself. I think everybody's in here now, and I'm Alvin Emmett. I am the pastor of senior adults here at Canton First Baptist Church. We have several members here, but we also have a lot of folks from the community that don't necessarily attend here. So I want to say welcome to you. We're glad you're here. Thank you for coming out to be with us tonight. We had over 200 people registered to come, and 27 different vendors coming to share their information with you. So the reason we're doing this is to educate you. A lot of our members call me when they're in crisis, or their children will call me. Mom and dad, or mom just broke her hip, and we're having to send her she's going to have to go to rehab and all these things. So they'll call me, what do we do? Where do I send her? Mom and dad need an assisted living. I don't know what to do. So a lot of folks call me when they're in crisis, and I love to be a resource and help point them in the right directions. But better than that, I want you to come out and understand the services and products that are offered to you before you're in crisis, something that might help you to live at home more safely a little bit longer. So that's the reason we have started this, and we're partnering with an organization from Cherokee County called Stand Up for Seniors, and you'll hear more about them at the end of the program. But it's important that we educate ourselves. I'm actually targeting a lot of the children of aging parents, so that the children will come and know what they can do to help mom and dad or aunts and uncles that that are needing some help. So we're educating folks about what happened. So that's the purpose for these symposiums, and we're going to continue these. We have another one on December 5th, and then we're planning our next year's events as well. Each speaker will be a different topic, and we're asking the speakers that come not to talk about their company, but to talk about their topic and educate us on that. So I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy the different subjects that we have. But you know, when you're in crisis, when you're in need, the number one tool that all of us have at our disposal and is the most powerful, and that's prayer. You know, our Heavenly Father wants to take care of us, wants to direct our paths, wants to help us when we're in need. So we need to all remember to call on Him when we're in time of need. After that, then you can call me, all right? But call Him first. All right, so let us pray. I want to pray, and then I'll introduce Bonnie, okay? So let's go to the Lord in prayer. First of all, before I do that, I want to, those of you that are visitors, please come back and be with us. We'd love to have you. You're welcome here anytime, so we'd love to see you one Sunday morning, okay? Father, we thank you for this day that you blessed us with. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to gather in your house and to learn about things that will help our senior adults. God, thank you for all of the vendors that have taken their time to come out and set up their tables and share their knowledge and share their products and information. Thank you for each one that have come out to learn and to educate themselves. God, I pray that you would bless each home that's represented here. Watch over them, guide them. And when they need help, God, I pray that they would remember to turn to you. God, we pray that your will be done here tonight, that everything will be done for your honor and your glory, and use Bonnie to educate us on Medicare and Medicaid. We thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So let me tell you about Bonnie Dobbs. Bonnie started her business. It's insurance and other red tape. She started her business for much the same reason that I've experienced since being pastor here, people in crisis. When they find themselves in need, they didn't know what to do. She was visiting family members in a memory care unit, and she saw how much trouble they were having with Medicare and Medicaid. So she has devoted her time to becoming an expert on that topic. She speaks for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. In fact, she has a new article coming out in AJC. Look for it. It will be out on October 6th. So be sure that you watch the AJC Aging in Atlanta section. She'll have an article coming out that'll talk a lot about this. Bonnie lives in Woodstock, so she's one of our own. She's a local gal. And so if she's ever out and about, don't run over her, wave at her and say, hey. But listen, we thank Bonnie for coming and spending time with us. She's going to be talking on 3 topics. She's going to be talking about Medicare, Medicaid, and VA benefits. And she'll talk about each one of those. At the end of her presentation, at the end of her talk, then we'll have a time of question and answers. You'll see we have the microphones down front. So if you have a question and she has not covered it, then please step up to the microphone and do that. So if you will, give a round of applause for Bonnie Dobbs.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Emmett, for that wonderful introduction. And actually, before I get started here, I would like to thank Dee and her team, Alvin and his team, and my team for making all this happen. Can we give them a round of applause? This is a big undertaking to put this together. So I have a question. How many of you are caregivers or children of adult parents that you're helping your folks? Good. Okay. How many of you are on Medicare? Oh, good. The majority of you. How many of you believe that 50 is the new 70? You are my people. Okay. Speaking of that, have you guys ever made like a knee-jerk, foolish decision since you turned 65? Anybody? Just me? Okay, yeah, that's right. Fess up. Okay. So last year in April, I had a little health scare. And this year in May, as I sat reflecting on my year, I was like, oh my gosh, I realized I had gotten my health back. My mind was good. My body was good. And at that moment, I picked the phone up and I called Delta. And I said, when's the next plane to Paris? I'm 70 years old, okay? So I'm past 65. So I did that. And she said it was in 9 days. I said, book it, baby. So I called my children, about gave them a heart attack. And there's a couple of things you need to know. I've never ridden in an Uber, never ridden in a bus, never ridden in a train. So boy, did I have a lot to learn whenever I arrived in Paris. I got to Paris, I was like, well, this is kind of nice, but I always wanted to go to Santorini. So I booked a flight to Santorini, stayed there for 2 weeks. While I was there, I was like, I never rode a gondola. I booked a flight to Venice. I went and I rode the gondola. Then everybody, whether you're in the U.S. or in Europe, they talk about how fabulous Portugal is, right? So I booked a flight to Lisbon. I stayed in Lisbon for 3 weeks, and then when you're in Lisbon, everybody talks about Porto. I went to Porto, then I went to Prague, then I went back to Paris, and I came home. So if you guys have any harebrained ideas that you have or have not done, I'm on Facebook, so would you please go friend me and share them so we can all have a laugh? Is that a deal? Is that a deal? Okay. All right. So I'm going to get started and get right into this now. I only have 2 rules, okay? One is no napping, no online shopping, okay? And if you do, I'll put you in timeout by making you come down and sit on the front row, okay? So now, enough of this. Let's dive into Medicare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the parts of Medicare, the ABCDs, okay? Then I'm going to talk about the 2 different ways to get coverage. I have some common, or maybe not so common, questions that people ask me, and then I want to open it up because I want to answer your questions, okay? Deal? We all in? Everybody awake? No sleeping so far? All right, let's get started. I hope I do this properly. Okay. Am I moving that or are you moving that? Oh, I'm moving it. Ooh, here we go. Okay. So we've talked about that. One thing I would like for you guys to know, I have agents in other states, not just in Georgia. And it's a little slow. I don't know why it's not moving forward. You may have to help me. There we go. Okay. So, to be Medicare eligible, first off, you do have to be a U.S. citizen or in the U.S. lawfully. There's 3 times when you become Medicare eligible. 1 is if you're turning 65. 2, if you're going to retire past 65, and more people are doing that. Or if you're under 65 and own disability. And I know I've talked to some of you people here tonight, and we have a good range of all of the above. Okay. With Medicare, there's penalties, there's deadlines if you don't, there's penalties if you don't meet those deadlines, which makes it even more confusing. I don't know why this is. Okay. Does everybody know what this is? Very good. John, there you go, John Smith's Medicare card. I can tell the front row is listening. Okay, so on your Medicare card, you got Part A, and beside Part A, it says hospital. Hospital is inpatient because you get care for that while you're either in the hospital or in skilled nursing or in hospice, okay? How do you pay for it? During your working years, you pay FICA taxes, right? So once you've worked for 10 years, which is equivalent to 40 quarters, you have self-funded your Part A. So Part A is hospital, and it's when you are sick and in the bed. You guys think you can remember Part A? Yes, okay. Moving right along. Part B. Part B is medical, and that means it's outpatient. It's like when you go to the doctor, when you go get a test, when you go get physical therapy. It's also for things like durable medical equipment. And Part B, drugs, okay? Part B drugs differ from Part D drugs. Part B drugs are injections or infusions that your doctor has to give to you, okay? Part D drugs are pills, ointments, creams that you get at the pharmacy. How do you pay? Whoops, did I do that? I guess I did. How do you pay for your Part B? You are billed once you become Medicare eligible, okay? So once you become Medicare eligible, if you've started Social Security, they will deduct it monthly. If you are delaying your Social Security, they'll send you a little bill in the mail and you have to pay it quarterly. So if the first time you get your bill, it's going to be for like $500 or $600, okay, that is correct because it's $174.70 a month. And because it's billed quarterly, the first time you pay, you may get charged for that extra month so they can get you on their quarterly cycle. Does that make sense, or is it clear as mud? Okay, we're not talking about secondary. You got ahead of me right now. Okay, we're talking about how you pay for Part B, okay? Part A, you pay FICA taxes while you're working, okay? Part B, when your Part B becomes effective, you have a monthly premium. If you've started your Social Security, they deduct it monthly. If you're delaying Social Security, they will send you a bill in the mail and you pay quarterly. Okay? So that's A and B. That's what's on your Medicare card. That's considered or referred to as Original Medicare. Part C. Part C is just another name for a Medicare Advantage plan. And a Medicare Advantage plan is one of two ways to get coverage that offsets Original Medicare, which I'll get into that in just a minute, okay? I just always like for everybody to know that Part C plans are good anywhere you have an emergency. Otherwise, they're service area specific. So if you're on an Advantage plan and you live in Cherokee County and you decide to go to the beach and enjoy a summer break or whatever, if you have an incident while you're at the beach, you can go to any emergency room or urgent care and use your Advantage plan. Otherwise, you need to use it just in your service area. Part D is a drug plan, okay? So prescription drug plans are available as standalone, or if you get an Advantage plan, they're built right into it. Now, drug plans, which you guys may not know, have a network of pharmacies. So let me tell you a little secret for those that don't know this, because I was just talking to somebody yesterday and they were not using somebody in the a pharmacy in the network. When you guys get home tomorrow, call the 800 number. If you're on an Advantage plan, call the 800 number on the back of the Advantage plan card. If you're on a standalone drug plan, call the 800 number on the back of that card. Ask them if the pharmacy where you're getting your prescriptions filled is in the network. Because if it is, you're going to save more money than if you go to they call it a standard instead of out of the network, okay? So that's one way you guys can start tomorrow by saving some money if you're not using an in-network pharmacy. So to recap really fast here, Part A and B is what's on your Medicare card. A is for hospital, B is for medical, which means out of the hospital, or outpatient rather. C is another name for a Medicare Advantage plan, and D is a drug plan. A, B, C, D. Are y'all with me on that, or do I need to go back over it? Yay. I'm going to go over that in a minute. I'm just talking about A, B, C, D right now, okay? Then I'm going to get to that. I promise, all right? So, whoops. Stay. So, there's two ways to get coverage to offset what original Medicare doesn't cover. Because if you only have that red and white and blue card, your Medicare card, okay, it pays 80%. Well, that leaves you owing the Part A deductible, the Part B deductible, and the other 20%. Well, nobody wants to lose a house over medical bills, right? So the two ways to offset those costs is one with a Medicare Advantage plan, or the other way is a Medicare Supplement plan, which is also known as a GAP plan, because that's what it does. It helps fill in those gaps left open by original Medicare, which is the Part A and Part B deductible and that other 20%. Now, these Advantage plans have the drug plan built or embedded right into the plan, but supplement plans do not. So you have to purchase a standalone plan, okay? So Advantage plans do have the drug plan, supplement plans do not, and you have to purchase a standalone drug plan. So far, do you guys understand that basic part? Yes? Oh, I love this. You are a great audience. Okay. Come on. So let's talk about some of the characteristics first of an Advantage plan. First of all, I want to make it clear that an Advantage plan is not a supplement plan, okay? Actually, they're often referred to as managed plans or replacement plans because the plan or the company decides on your care. There is a network of doctors or providers, and they serve a specific service area. So that's the three main characteristics of an Advantage plan. The plan decides your care instead of original Medicare. They do have a network of providers, and they serve a specific area. Now, Advantage plans also have all of the benefits of original Medicare. So remember at the very beginning, I talked about Part A and Part B. That's hospital, that's inpatient and outpatient, okay? So an Advantage plan has all of those benefits embedded in it, and it usually has the additional benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, over-the-counter, food cards maybe. Remember all those commercials by Joe Namath? He would get on there and sound like a used car salesman. Y'all remember that a couple of years ago? You know, I mean, they were like promising everything. You know, you're missing out on benefits and you could be getting this much money and we'll give you a pink Cadillac and a trip to Disney. I mean, I am so glad that the CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, they shut those down. Notice in the past 2 years, Joe and his buddies went away. You don't see them on TV anymore. But anyway, Advantage plans are most like that, but just not as exaggerated with those benefits. That's what he used to talk about. Advantage plans, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. They have co-pays, co-insurance, a maximum out of pocket, and they may or may not have a monthly premium, but if they do, it's a much smaller monthly premium. And those are the things that make Advantage plans attractive to people, because they don't have a premium usually, and they have all of those additional benefits. Does everybody get Advantage plans so far? Yes? No? Good. Okay, great. I don't know why I keep hitting this thing twice. Sorry about that. There's different types of Advantage plans. There's HMOs, PPOs, PFFS, and HMO POS. Whoops, I went backwards or something. What happened here? Wouldn't y'all like to get somebody that knew how to use a clicker? Okay, so it's really important that you guys understand the difference in an HMO and a PPO, okay? Those are big, and that's what 90% of all the plans are. If you're on an HMO, that means you must stay in the network or pay the whole bill, okay? If you're on a PPO, if you stay in the network, your cost will be smaller or less, okay, but it gives you the flexibility to go out of the network. So just remember, look on your card, if you're on an Advantage plan, look on your card, and if it says HMO, remember, in network only. If it's PPO, you do have the flexibility to go out of the network, you'll just get a higher copay. So now, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about a Medicare supplement plan. Now, remember what I said earlier, supplement plans are also known as Medigap plans. So, number one for a Medigap plan, there's no network, and what that means to you is you can go to any provider in the nation, not just in your service area. There is no service area, okay? You can go to any provider in the nation to get your care. I had someone, and there's a lot of you here that know this particular guy because he's in the senior industry. Whenever I wrote his plan, the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, Bonnie, I'm going to go to the Mayo Clinic and get my hip replacement." And you know what? By golly, he did. Now, the insurance company is not going to pay for your travel expenses, there and back, but you're going to get billed just as if you were here. So it doesn't matter. There is no network. So you can go to any provider as long as they accept Medicare. There's no referral. With some plans, with the Advantage plans, the HMOs, if you want to go see a specialist, you have to contact your PCP. You don't have to do that with supplement plans. Now, supplement plans do have a monthly premium, okay? But you have a small deductible, and depending on which one of the plans you get, paparazzi, I'll stop and let you take pictures. Okay, sorry about that. Squirrel. Where was I? Okay, with the supplement plan, you do have a monthly premium, but your deductible is small, and you may or may not have a copay, depending on which plan you get, because supplement plans are named by a letter, like a Plan F. How many of you guys have heard of a Plan F? Yeah, okay. So they quit offering Plan F to people who, if you turned 65 after January 1 of 2020, you can no longer get a Plan F. But that's okay, because there's always something else to come along to help you out. Plan Gs cost a little less, but there is the Part B deductible. So with the Plan G, okay, original Medicare pays its 80%, your Plan G will pay its 20%, except it does not, it pays the Part A deductible, but it does not pay the Part B deductible. You pay that, this year it's $240. You pay the $240 and then you don't have any medical co-pays for the rest of the year. You would just have your monthly premium. So supplement plans come in like Plan F, G, N, and in the past few years, the high deductible Plan F and G. Those are a little bit more complicated to explain, and I will not do it for this because probably none of you want it or have heard of it. But if you do, you can give me a call, okay? We'll definitely go over it. All right, so far, how you doing? You understand the difference in an advantage and a supplement? You need for me to go back over anything? That's right, thumbs up. There you go. Thumbs up, everybody. Woohoo. All right. Very good. So let's talk about when you can enroll and when, if you don't enroll, you get in trouble. And it's called a lifelong penalty. So that's trouble, right? So I'm sure all of you know your original or initial enrollment period. If you're turning 65, you got a 7-month period. You got the 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and 3 months after to get on a plan so you don't get any kind of penalty. Now, every year from October the 15th to December the 7th is annual enrollment. During annual enrollment, if you're on a plan, you can compare your Advantage plan or your drug plan with all of the other plans that are available to you, okay? And that's coming up. It's just around the corner. There's special enrollment periods. Now, I want everybody to listen up for this. Did you know, even though Medicare is a federal program, it differs not only state to state, but county to county. So if you live in Cherokee County and you decide to move to Cobb County, or you decide to move to Fulton or Henry or wherever, you need to have your plan checked, okay? Once again, I'm going to say that. If you're on an Advantage plan and you move out of your county, not just the state, but out of your county, please call. We can compare to see, number one, if your plan is good in that specific county, or sometimes there's better options whenever you move, and that's always a good thing, okay? The other time is if you're moving in or out of a nursing home. If you're on an Advantage plan, the federal government gives you one time to change plans. Because think about it. If you're going into a nursing home, you're probably not having a good day, right? I mean, your doctors have probably changed, your medications have changed, your whole lifestyle has changed, okay? So if you're on an Advantage plan and you go into a nursing home or you move out of your county, please have your Advantage plan reviewed because you want the best coverage for where you are. The other time is if you lose Medicaid or if you now are qualifying for Medicaid. And y'all know that during COVID, they did not make any Medicaid recipients. Every year they have to go in and what's the word I'm looking for? They have to go update all of their information for Medicaid. And they did not require anybody on Medicaid to do that for 3 years. Then they decided this year they were going to do it. Well, I don't know what happened to make that whole entire system go sideways, but almost, I mean, Georgia was one of the top 5 states in the country to suffer loss of people that were on Medicaid. And those folks that are on low income, that is so important to them. That is vital to how they get their medications and how they get their care. And it's still a big mess. I have people, actually we had somebody call today, the office, about that. So if you're qualifying or you're losing Medicaid, you can also change plans. Now, general election period, I call that the oopsie period, because that means when you became Medicare eligible, you didn't enroll. So now you got a lifelong penalty. And they won't let you enroll just any time you want to. They got rules about that too. So now you can enroll in January, February, or March, and then your plan of the following year, and then your plan will begin. And then open enrollment is a time every year, and they only started this a couple of years ago just to confuse everybody. And it's like throwing a monkey wrench, okay? If you're on an Advantage plan, every year in January, February, or March, okay, you can switch to another Advantage plan or drop that and get a drug plan. If you want to get a supplement plan, though, you have to medically qualify unless you're still in those grace periods. So those are the different times for enrolling. And I know that's a lot, but everybody in here is at a different stage, and I'm sure I hit a nerve with everybody on one of those points, okay? But the good news is you don't have to remember all of that. Just remember what applies to you. So there are specific types of Medicare Advantage plans. One is a dual, which is for people on Medicare and Medicaid, veteran plans, and chronic plans. Now I can't get this to move again. There we go. So dual plans are for low income and people that are on Medicare and Medicaid, like I say, and these plans offer more benefits, like instead of them getting $1,000 for dental, they may get $2,000 or $3,000 for dental. Instead of them getting $75 to $100 for glasses, they may get $400. They may get transportation. That would be so many trips, and they can use that to go to the doctor or to the pharmacy to pick their medications up. Those are the ones that have the food cards. So, speaking of that, has anybody ever called you and said, "Oh, you may qualify for a food card"? Anybody get those calls? That's right. Okay, the only way you can get those if you make about $1,200 a month. So if you make about $1,200 a month, you probably qualify. But other than that, all they're trying to do is just get your information. This is the levels of Medicaid. I'm not going to go over this. If somebody needs to know this, you can either go to gateway.ga.gov, which is the place where you would go apply for Medicaid, or you can call my office. We'll be happy to send this out to you. Extra Help. Extra Help is also known as low income subsidy, and what it helps people on low income pay for their medications. And hang on just a second. I missed that. Okay, so your qualifying does depend on your income. One way, if you're not sure if you qualify for Extra Help, especially if you guys are paying a lot of money, call the 800 number on the back of your insurance card. Don't call Medicare, don't call Social Security. Call the 800 number on the back of your insurance card, okay? Because they'll be able to tell you if you qualify or not. There's also plans for veterans. Now, these plans have not been offered except for about 3 years, and they do offer additional benefits like the dental, vision, and hearing. But one of the big things that's good for our veterans, it's called the Part B buy down or the Part B give back. So, you know how your Part B this year, unless you're high income or low income, but the average American, you pay $174.70. Everybody know about that for your Part B. Well, these plans, instead of you having to pay that entire amount, They may offer you $100, so then you would only have to pay the $74.70. There's different companies offer different amounts. So if you guys qualify for the VA, let us know. We can help you on that. And another benefit, which has nothing to do with Medicare, is aid in attendance. And what it does is it provides money towards nursing home costs. And the approximate, I don't know this, don't take this to the bank, and don't write it in stone, okay? It's about $2,100, I think, okay? You can contact the VA. And what I've done is I have 2 different informational pieces here. They're out on my table. So for all of you who have VA or have family, one of them is we have listed all of the different places where you can get health care in Georgia, because just because you're here tonight doesn't mean that your family or friends live near here. So this is the list for all of Georgia where they can get care through the VA. And then we also have information on the aid in attendance, how to get that and who qualifies for that. So, and my table is right outside this door here on the left. What happens if I'm on an Advantage plan and my provider goes out of the network? Well, if you're on an HMO, you got to pay the whole cost if you go. If you're on a PPO, you're going to have to pay a higher cost because they're going to be out of the network. So this actually happened in Georgia. I mean, agents are told this all the time, and we tell our clients. But year before last, and some of you I'm sure is going to remember this, Northside Hospital went out of network with Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think. Wellstar went out of network with United Healthcare. And Piedmont went out of network, I think, with Humana. So we got our 3 major hospital groups in Atlanta and 3 major Medicare Advantage companies in Atlanta. And all these people are calling, depending on which company they were with, I can't go to the hospital. I can't go see my doctor, because sometimes when they go out of network, how each one of these are affiliated with large doctor groups. They couldn't go to their doctor. And they're calling me, I want to get off this plan, I want to get on another plan. Guess what? Because your doctor goes out of network, that does not give you the opportunity to change plans. Okay? So just know that. If your doctor goes out of the network, that is not an opportunity for you to change plans. Why do I need a power of attorney? I don't want y'all to raise your hand on this, but if you're sitting there going, I know I need to do it, I know I need to do it, or no, I'm never going to do it, any of you that way, let me ask you a question. Who do you want to take care of your affairs when you can't? Do you want to choose that person, or do you want the state to choose that person? This is something you may want to think about, because it may be that floozy niece that just doesn't know how to manage her money, but sure would like to get her hands on yours. Food for thought, okay. Okay. Actually, Nelson Elder Care is here. I don't know if Janet's in here or not. Janet, are you in here? Oh, no, she probably went to eat. I don't blame her. I would too. But anyway, they have a table out here. If you're not working with an attorney, they're very reputable in Cherokee County. What about high-income individuals? Once again, don't raise your hand. I want y'all to remain anonymous, okay? If you are rich beyond belief and God has blessed you, yay, good for you. We're not going to talk about that out loud, okay? You can just smile big and I'll know who you are, okay? So there's something called income-related monthly adjustment amount. and there's always a 2-year look back. So for 2024, okay, they're looking at your 2022 taxes, your modified adjusted gross income, or your MAGI. Now, if you're a single person, you can make up to $103,000, or if you're married, filing joint, you can make up to $206,000, and you'll pay $174.70 for your Part B. However, there is an escalating scale, and it goes up to $750,000 and over. Right now, the 2025 rates have not been released. The CMS, or the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, decides those rates. So, if you do qualify for IRMAA, if you are a high-income earner, this would be a good time, especially if you're under 65 right now. Talk to your financial planner and find out how can you hide, maybe that's not a good word, but is there some type of financial products that they can put into place for you, so instead of you showing more income, like through interest and that type of thing, that they can help minimize that. What about prescription drugs? Have any of you heard what's going to happen with drugs this year? In 2025? All this stuff has really just been coming down the pike in the past couple of weeks, and it's getting pretty serious. It's really good for the majority of Americans, but every time something's good over here, it kind of falls down in the no, it's not good over here zone. Anyway, so the annual deductible, okay, rumor has it's going to increase it's $545 is the maximum Part D deductible this year, but they're going to jack that up to $590. But the maximum out of pocket for drugs is going to be $2,000, which that is music to your ears. And that's exactly what I wrote in my AJC article. $2,000 is going to be music to some people's ears, because this year you can pay up to $8,000 out of pocket for your medications. So for those of you who are on expensive medications, just know you're going to get some reprieve next year. Now, according to the Inflation Reduction Act in 2022, like I said, the max out of pocket is going to be $2,000. This is what's going to happen. Mark my word. Okay, I don't care what they say. We'll just watch this. Your Part D monthly premium, they're going to have to jack that up. They're going to have to make that spread up somewhere between the $2,000 and the $8,000, and somebody's going to have to pay. So it's going to be all of you who are on these drug plans, the standalone drug plans. Those are going to go up, and I've already said that the annual deductible, the CMS hasn't really ruled and said that it's going to be $590, but there's a lot of other stuff a lot of other people on the internet that have more inside information. I have no inside information, y'all, by the way. I get my information from the same place that y'all do. Google, right? How did we ever live without Google? The Part B premium this year is $174.70. I don't know what it's going to be for next year. They haven't released that, or the annual deductible. This year it's $240. Come on. Okay, so do you guys have a better understanding now of the big picture with Medicare, the things that I have talked about? Did I totally confuse you, or is it kind of some of the pieces start to fall into place? And you know what's going to happen? The next time you hear somebody speak, you're going to remember some of the stuff that I said, and a light bulb's going to come, oh, now I remember this. Now I understand this. Okay, what does it cost to get a plan review with my company? Nothing. Services are always free. Come on. What happens if I'm on an Advantage plan and the provider goes out of network? We've already gone over that. If you're on an HMO, you pay the full cost. If you're on a PPO, it'll cost you more. This thing is just taken off by itself, isn't it? Why are some people not a good fit for an Advantage plan? There are restrictions on care, like whenever you're traveling and limited doctor acceptance. Advantage plans are also known as replacement plans. We've already talked about that. I do want to talk about with some purple one more time there, though, if I can get this thing to go back. Just remember, if a provider does not accept Medicare, though, and you go to that provider, you're going to have to pay the entire bill. It doesn't matter what plan you're on, okay? So make sure before you go to a doctor, you make sure that they do accept Medicare. Okay. Who are these people that call and say they work for Medicare? Does anybody ever call you up and say, hey, this is so-and-so, and I'm with Humana, or I'm with whatever? No, they're not. You know, they're just trying to sell you something, because Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the IRS, they're never going to call you. Okay, they're never going to call you. Somebody from the company is never going to call you. I mean, I could call every one of you and say, hey, this is Bonnie. I'm with United and Humana and Aetna and Cigna and Mutual and you know, because I'm with all of them. So if somebody calls you, well, first of all, it's against the rules to call you, so we never call you. But you can call us. We're there when you need us. But anybody that calls you, they're just there to sell you something or to steal your identity. Okay, one or the other, and you never know why. I mean, never know which. Why did this thing just keep going back? Okay. So, once again, if somebody calls and announces that they are from your bank, your credit card, the IRS, Social Security, Medicaid, any government agency, just remember that they are trying to get your identity. They're not. Just get off the phone with them, and then you call your bank. Okay, you call Social Security and see if somebody is trying to call you. And you want to make sure you never give them your information. If this thing does this one more time, I'm telling you. Ta-da. Okay, don't give them your information. Just give them nothing, okay? Make sure that you don't give them your complete name, your address, and of course, nothing like your driver's license or Social Security or Medicare number. My team can help you, and now I am going to open this up to questions. Yeah, so if you would like to come up to the microphone. Yes, what do you have? I'm sorry, say that again, sweetie.
I would love you to talk about the red tape specifically. Like when you go to the emergency room and you need to be admitted to the hospital, you should never be admitted under observation because you might get stuck with that bill. And then you have to be in the hospital so many days until you can get further rehab for 21 more days. All those crazy little things. Like say you go into the hospital on the first of the month for a heart issue, and then 2 weeks later, you feel like you need to go back. I was told that there's issues with the hospital for going back for the same reason. All these specific little weird red tape things that do happen all the time, at least in my mother's life it does.
Right. So whenever you go to the emergency room, you'll want to make sure you take your Medicare card, take your insurance card with you, okay? So they know what coverage that you have. And then there is a rule, and you're right, most people don't know about this rule. You have to be admitted, not under observation, for 3 days to qualify for skilled nursing, okay? So just remember that. When you go to the emergency room, if they say, we're just going to keep you overnight, keep an eye on you, go, oh, no, you're not. Either you do the paperwork and you keep me in here, okay, you admit me, or I'm going home. Because if when you go, first of all, think about this. When you go to the emergency room, you're not going for no reason, because you're bored, right? I doubt it. There's something really wrong with you for you to go to the emergency room. And when you get there, you don't know. You can have a miraculous healing and be home in a few hours, or things can go south really fast. So just make sure you tell your ER doctor, look, I want to be admitted, because if things do go south, you want to be in a position to go to skilled nursing if you need it. And then the insurance companies dings the hospitals if you're back in there within so many days. So the hospitals really kind of get caught in a wedgie, because they're trying to do the best they can with you, and then the insurance company goes, but if you don't do this, we're going to penalize you. We're not going to pay for blah, blah, blah. So, yes, that's a very good question, and thank you for asking that, because I bet most people didn't know about that 3-day rule. Thank you. Anybody else have a question? I know somebody's got one. Scott.
So we want you to come
got
to the microphones that are up here and ask your questions. And I have one that I'll ask while somebody's thinking of their question.
Okay.
So does Medicare cover hospitalization, home care, and or assisted living? So does it cover
Okay,
either of
the
those?
question is, does Medicare cover hospital? Yes. Okay. Now, are you talking about original Medicare, or are you talking about an Advantage plan or a supplement plan? Because they all pay a little different, and they pay a little different, and then you're charged differently. But to answer your question about hospital, yes. Your doctor must order skilled nursing, and there's a list of criteria for you to qualify to go into skilled nursing. And what was the other one?
Home care. So what
Home
about
care. It does cover, actually, original Medicare, you don't even have to have a plan, covers home care with a doctor's order, but only for so long, okay? I think, and I could be terribly wrong, somebody call me out on it if I am, I think it's 60 days, and then your doctor has to write another order for it on that.
This is a question I get asked quite often. Does it cover assisted living communities?
No. Medicare is insurance. It's medical insurance, okay? It doesn't provide any housing, okay? That would be a Medicaid question. Yes, what's your question?
I'm on an Advantage plan, but want to switch back to regular Medicare.
Okay.
What's the easiest way to do that?
Call me. It's real easy. During annual enrollment, which is October the 15th to December the 7th, if you're on an Advantage plan, that's the time when you can switch to a different Advantage plan, or you can switch to a drug plan. If you switch off of your Advantage plan, you have to get a drug plan. And if you don't get a drug plan, or if you ever go more than 63 days without a drug plan, you get a lifelong penalty. Okay?
I have a drug plan through someone else,
I don't know who's someone else.
the VA.
Okay, you're good.
So I can just go back to regular Medicare A and B?
You can, but remember what I was talking about, VA plans? VA plans will help you out with that Part B deductible. So that's like putting money back in your pocket. I know stuff, don't I?
The reason I was thinking
Yeah.
about changing back is
Yeah.
because the limitation on some doctors.
Absolutely.
And that's why I was thinking
You can go to any doctor you want to. Yeah. I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm so sorry. So she said she's interested in having flexibility to go to any doctor that she wants to, except Medicare. And she has found with her Advantage plan, because remember, that's one of the characteristics of an Advantage plan is they do have a network of doctors. And you have seen how that works firsthand. You couldn't go.
Except I want to get out of that and go back to Medicare.
Understand.
because my Advantage plan doesn't.
You can. You
I
can.
want to see.
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. But I would still get on a veterans plan. Yeah, yeah. Enjoy whatever benefits you veterans can get. And I would like to thank you for your service. Can we give all of our veterans a hand? Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
I want to tag on to what she was saying.
Uh-huh.
What if you're on an Advantage plan and you have a stroke
Mm-hmm.
and
It's Friday. Is that where you're going with this?
what?
And it's Friday. Is that where you're going with this?
No, I'm going with the fact that in the hospital I have seen Advantage plans deny the inpatient unit, which is the best for stroke rehab.
Yeah.
And of course they have to send you to the nursing home they're in contract with. But aside from that, and then you're just not happy with the care you've gotten on the Advantage plan, and you want to switch back to traditional Medicare. Are there pre-existing conditions that could exist to prevent you from switching Advantage plans or switching back to Medicare, traditional Medicare?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I get that asked a lot. And the reason why I said Friday is because the Advantage plans have up to 72 hours to answer once you put in a request. Thank you for asking that question because many people need to know this. Number one, the specific situation you're talking about, no, that person would not qualify because they've had a stroke, okay? So let's start at the beginning. When you first become Medicare eligible, you can get on any plan with no medical underwriting, okay? If you decide you want to get on an Advantage plan and try it out, take it for a test drive, okay? Then you decide maybe you don't want to be on that Advantage plan, you would prefer to be on a supplement plan. You have 1 year, okay? You have a 1 year grace period, and you can switch from your Advantage plan back to a supplement with no underwriting. After you pass that grace period, you would have to endure medical underwriting. I know that's a lot to remember. If you can't remember, you can call me and I'll be happy to say it again. But just know, when you first become Medicare eligible, you can get on any supplement plan, no medical underwriting. If you decide right out of the gate you want to be on an Advantage plan, but within a year you decide that's not exactly what you want, you have a grace period of up to 1 year to switch. Okay? What's your question?
I have a supplement plan because
Okay.
I like them.
Yes.
My question, well, I had two questions.
Okay.
One, you kept talking about a 3-day thing about being in the hospital.
Yes.
What's that? You have to be admitted for 3 days?
Yes.
For them to pay if you're just admitted for like 1
No,
day?
no, no. You have to be admitted for 3 days to qualify for skilled nursing. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
No, they're going to pay your hospital bill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I like go to emergency, don't let them keep me overnight under observation.
There you go.
Say, admit me.
You got it.
Okay,
You
I
got it.
understand.
That's
Okay,
right.
got
That's
that.
right. Okay.
Great.
Yay. Okay.
My other question was about, I do have a separate drug plan.
Uh-huh.
And you said that might go like way high because of the change, the $2,000 or whatever.
Well, the maximum out of pocket for the cost or your copays for drugs
Yeah.
will be maxed out at $2,000. So what I'm thinking is these insurance companies, these drug companies are going to have to get money from somewhere, and that's me and you. So they'll have an increase. Now, one thing, okay, supposedly they can only increase them 6% each year. Yeah, and then I'm going to throw a monkey wrench because I bet half of you that's on a supplement plan has the same drug plan, especially if you're on no or very few drugs. There's a couple of companies, and they are going to terminate those drug plans. So everybody in here, that's the good news, isn't it? God, I'm going to send y'all home feeling horrible. But yeah, a couple of these companies are going to terminate their drug plan, so you'll get to, go through all that happiness again. And that's when everybody's going to see the price jump. What is your question, please?
You said you can change Medicare Advantage programs during the open enrollment.
Yes.
If you're on Medigap supplement, can you change companies or plans inside a supplement anytime during the year, unless you're on open enrollment, or never?
Okay, if you have an Advantage plan, you can only change during those specific times I was telling you about earlier. If you have a supplement plan, and thank you for bringing this up because I didn't go over it. If you have a supplement plan, you can change plans any month you medically qualify. So you could change from one plan in January, another one in February, So any month that you medically qualify on the supplement plans, you can change. And then your other question was, if you're on a plan, can you change from like a G to an N or an F to a whatever? If you're on let me make sure I get this right. If you're on a G plan, there's one company, and I think they will let you move to an N plan with no underwriting. You just call them up and say, hey, I want to move to an N plan. An N plan will probably cost you about $20 to $30 less in premium each month. But remember, with an N plan, you're going to have more skin in the game. So you're going to have a copay when you go to the doctor of $20, $50 when you go to the emergency room. That's just about it, other than the Part B deductible. That gets a little bit more into the weeds. If you got questions about it, you can give me a call because it's too much to really try to go over here.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever give up my G, but if you're on a G with a company and another company has a better premium, can you make that switch?
As long as you medically qualify, you can do it every month.
What does medically qualify mean?
They ask you about 50 questions. And they're very probing. So if you don't have any medical issues, yeah, absolutely. But like if you have, I don't know, maybe a little blood pressure medicine or cholesterol or something like that, it's not going to be a problem. You'd qualify. But like if you need a knee replacement or you had cancer in the past, it's not going to happen.
Does an aid in attendance require service-connected disability?
I'm not real sure. That's a good question. I'm not real sure. You can pick up one of those informational sheets that I have out front. Also, I know something and I forgot to write it down. Guess what I have? I have got not one, but 2 telephone numbers to people in Cherokee County that work for the VA. So everything I don't know, or I've highlighted on, you can call them direct. I'm so sorry I meant to do that today, and I walked right out of my office and didn't. But you can call my office tomorrow, and we'll give you those 2 numbers to call. Yes, good.
Yes, there's no.
Yeah, you got a doozy question here.
I understand for 2025 there will be a CSNP plan, which is a chronic special needs plan, and I guess it's for people who have dementia, chronic diseases like heart disease and COPD, etc. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so every year in August, all the insurance companies have us do certifications for every single company that we work for, which is a lot of fun, okay? Anyway, I have my face stuck in a computer for a month trying to do that. The question he asked was some of the SNP plans, which is the chronic needs plans, are they going to offer care for dementia? And the answer is in the state of Georgia, and I think I have taken every test for every company now. In the state of Georgia, the answer is no for 2025, okay? I got one more to take, and maybe I'm just not lucky to completely answer your question, but I do not think so. It's not even been mentioned in any material that I have read. Now, what I want you guys to know is chronic plans for the state of Georgia are just for people that have heart problems or diabetes. Every state decides which chronic diseases that they're going to cover. So it may be covered in some other states, and that's the reason why when you ask me that question, I ask you, did you get this information, in Georgia or from another state? Because other states, like I know, because I lived in Florida for a couple of years, the state of Florida also includes COPD in their chronic plans. So I'm sure that some state does or is offering that. It's just not Georgia this year. But you can ask us again next year.
Bonnie, I have a question while we're waiting for someone else to come. Speaking of Medicare and Medicaid, is there any assistance for people under 65 that might be mentally disabled or have a mental handicap?
Yes.
Children or adults?
Yes. So you can, if you qualify for Medicare, okay. Remember, Medicare is insurance, and it is for people on disability under 65 also. That was one of the 3 times I was telling you that you qualify for Medicare in the beginning. And then if you're low income, it doesn't matter if your parents, because some adults have to live with their parents their entire life. It doesn't matter how wealthy their parents are. It's based on your income, and you would qualify for SSI. There are plans, okay, for people on Medicare and Medicaid. I specifically have one. I have a surgeon from Emory Hospital, and he has 2 children that are Down syndrome, and both of them are on Medicare and Medicaid, and they get their own monthly check, okay? And they also work at Emory doing different jobs, which is great. But they're on Medicare and Medicaid. They qualify for specific plans just for that group, and so the answer is yes. Scott asked me a question. Scott, I hope I can remember the whole thing. Scott's turned 65. Scott's wife is on disability, but she's 63. He's going to be retiring, and his question to me was, since his wife is only 63, does she qualify for Medicare? Well, yes, because she's on disability. That was the key word. So her Part A, I'm not sure, how long, Scott, has your wife been on Part A? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? 5 years, okay. She would only need to be on Part A on disability for 2 years, and then she automatically qualifies for Part B. So when he retires, she can request her Part B to start because she's going to be losing spousal insurance, okay, employer insurance. So your wife will be able to do that. It's best to work with a knowledgeable broker on complicated situations like this so we can help you provide guidance from the beginning, and we always like to start working with people about 3 months before so we can, help you know when to enroll in Part B, when to do this, when's the next step and the next step. We help keep you on track so you always have insurance coverage, number 1, and number 2, so you don't get a penalty, because if you ever get a penalty, it's not a 1 month or pay it off deal, it's for the rest of your life. So whenever you decide you've had enough, Scott, and you want to tell them to take that job and do whatever they would like to with it, give me a call. What's your question, sir?
Okay, we have a friend that's currently, she had a stroke is 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any additional income that's available through Social Security?
Well, once you start Social Security, then disability goes away. You have disability until you become eligible for Social Security, and then it goes away and it's just Social Security. Now, what she may qualify for, though, is either extra help to help her with her medications. And of course, once again, that would depend on what her monthly income is, or she may qualify for full Medicaid, and she could get many benefits from that. Is she still living at home, or is somebody caring for her, or?
She's in assisted living currently.
Okay, she's in assisted living. Yeah, well, if she's in assisted living, she probably exceeds the amount that she would have to make to qualify to get Medicaid. So I can't think of anything else. Is she on a supplement or an Advantage plan?
She's on a Advantage plan.
Okay. There are some Advantage plans that may be better for her, and especially since she now lives in assisted living, because how long has she lived there?
6 months.
Okay. You could have a review on her Advantage plan to see if she's on the best one for her with her current situation, during annual enrollment.
So you mentioned minimum salary requirement for that under Medicaid. So what would that amount be?
For Medicaid, it's like $1,200-ish, okay? It's different in other states, but for the state of Georgia, it's about $1,200, and for Medicaid, for extra help, I think it's about $1,600 to $1,800.
So she currently earns less than that in Social Security. So would that impact the Medicaid?
Oh, yeah. If that, and especially, I'm thinking one way, but I just come up, anyway. If somebody is helping pay for her care in the nursing home, absolutely. I was thinking because she was already in there that she made enough money to pay for her accommodations there, but obviously that is not the case. So yeah, she probably does qualify for Medicaid.
Thank you.
Sure. And once again, you can call our office, or you can go to, it's Gateway, GATEWAY.ga.gov if you just want to go straight there and put in an application. Yes, ta-da, what you got?
I'm here
You
for
look
all
like a
the-
rock star. You're doing that
I'm
one.
here for all the red tape answers.
That's okay.
Say you're in the hospital, and
Okay.
you don't feel good, and they want to send you home, because right now they're always trying to send you home. 'cause
Yeah, they
it's,
are.
She's
Oh, yeah.
trying to get you out of there. Would you explain the whole appeal process and how to force them to keep you until you feel better? And then what about if you get a bill and you don't agree with it, that you should never have gotten or whatever? What is the whole appeal process? And then the other thing is, like, there's a lot of single older people that I know, so there's nobody
About
at
my
home
age.
to take care of them if they get pushed out quickly from the hospital, or if they get pushed out quickly from a rehab center, and say they need to call an ambulance. Well, then they might get a huge bill that they weren't anticipating. So when can you call an ambulance? When can't you? I'm just looking for a bunch of little red tape answers.
Yeah, okay. So you can call in an ambulance when there's an emergency, okay? The ambulance takes you to the hospital. The ambulance does not bring you home from the hospital, okay? It'll take you to the hospital, but it won't bring you home. You have to pay to come home, okay? The other question was, what if they're kicking you out of the hospital and you feel like you need longer care in the hospital? There is an appeal process, and you can go to Medicare.gov and print off the form. Or we've got the form in our office. We can send it to you, okay? Whenever you do that, though, the insurance companies have up to 72 hours to answer. So if somebody, y'all can't say I said this out loud, I will get killed. by somebody else. But if somebody's in the hospital on Friday and they really feel like they cannot take care of themselves to go home, they can appeal Friday, knowing it's going to be Monday before the insurance company comes back and says yes or no, okay? So that's going to buy you the weekend, at least.
But if they deny it, you're gonna have to pay for it.
If they deny it, you can, no, you don't have to pay for it. But you can appeal it again. I mean, I had somebody say that they took it to the highest level, and they just kept appealing it. But there is, I think you can only appeal, it's either 2 or 3 times, and then that's it on the appeals, okay? Did you have a question?
Good questions. Anybody else have a question? All right, so I'm going to ask one for our veterans. I appreciate the fact that you have a list out there on your table for our veterans to know about which facilities will take care of them, help them throughout the state. So that's wonderful. You had mentioned the aid and assistance program, and I think your slide said that would help them with skilled nursing homes. Will that also help them with assisted living communities or just the nursing homes?
Yes, that does help them with assisted living. I'm sorry, I meant to say assisted living and not nursing home.
Okay.
Yeah. So the $2,100, and it may vary, okay, that is money that VAs, if you qualify for aid and assistance, okay, that's money that they would pay the nursing home, and then the nursing home would take your Social Security check, and they would leave you, I don't know, $50, $75 from your Social Security check, for incidentals. But the information sheet out front has got some numbers to call about them, but they're just generic numbers. If you guys who live in Cherokee County would like, I've got the number to 2 people in Cherokee County that does work for the VA administration, and I'll be more than happy to give it to you. And once again, I apologize for not bringing it with me tonight.
Well, wonderful. That $2,100 assistance for vets in assisted living will make a difference for some folks, whether they can or cannot go there. So thank you for clarifying that. Bonnie, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you for coming and talking to us. Folks, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'd like to say one more thing. So whenever I was on the panel discussions for the AJC for 5 years as their Medicare expert, and I would always end my speaking with this. I'd ask everybody, do you guys remember that band, the Eagles? Okay, remember that song, Hotel California? Well, that's kind of like Medicare, because you can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. Thank you all. You've been a wonderful audience. I hope you've learned something.
Thank you. Bonnie will be at her table answering questions for a little while afterwards, so if you still have a question, feel free to go by and see her. Dee is going to come up. Dee is one of the board members with Stand Up for Seniors, and Dee is going to dismiss us and tell us a little bit about Stand Up for Seniors, and then we'll be dismissed. So y'all hang in there and listen to her. Come on. Oh, she's going to have a drawing. Okay, well, that's even better reason to stay.
All right, we got some drawings from Legacy Ridge. They had that beautiful fall basket out front. Hopefully no one's left that has their name in here. So Alvin, can you draw for us?
Hugh Beavers.
Hugh Beavers, is he still here? Hugh, Legacy Ridge, you won, yay! And then Habitat for Humanity, they had a nice, fun basket. So Alvin. All right. Oh, you got one too, Janet? Okay.
All right.
Oh boy, don't ask me to read it. Oh.
Let me put my glasses on. Anastina? Orstina?
Let's see. I'll see if I can get mine on too.
The email address is
Me and Alvin, we'll get it. Oh boy, Christina.
C.
Is it
Starkey?
Christina? C. Starkey is the email. Something at Gmail? No.
Not here. Okay.
Okay, let's do it again. Or should I call? What do you guys think I should do? Yeah, do it again. I don't know what these do. Alvin?
Marianne Hodge? Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, we're getting old, Alvin.
So also we have a drawing.
That
here.
one was Habitat, by the way. So just go out to their table. They'll have it for you.
We had a number randomizer, and so we drew number 6, and that was Mrs. Michelle Whitmire.
Michelle Whitmire. Here you
Yay! You want to take that to her?
Yes, thank
Okay. And then we had Nelson Elder
Nelson
Care
Elder
Hall.
Care.
Oh, Alvin, you're going to.
M. Whitmire.
Wow.
She's racking up tonight.
She's racking up. Look at that. Well, first of all, we just want to thank everyone for coming out again. June, we had a lot of fun with y'all, and we're glad a lot more of you came out for the September event. We will be meeting again December 5th. Might have to talk to Alvin about meeting a little earlier because I think it'll be getting darker earlier. We'll have a home care expert, Brian Mitchell with Silver Companions. And we'll have Cameron Hall with Affinis Hospice. Oh, we got another one? Oh, gosh, guys, we got more. All right, Alvin, come on. Now, Miss Whitmore, you can't win again. Just kidding.
Michelle Whitmire.
No, it isn't. We're kidding.
Heidi Dans.
Heidi? Is there a Heidi in here?
Let's see, Heidi Fields?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it, Heidi Wong?
Heidi Wong?
Wong? Yes.
Okay.
Yay. Look at this. We got even more. What is happening? Okay. All right. Holbrook. Right? Yeah? Okay.
Kathy Moffitt.
Kathy Moffitt? All right. Just go to Holbrook. I think they've got. You guys got it for her? Oh, well, you tell her what you're doing. Anyway, so Stand Up for Seniors is a nonprofit in Cherokee County. We've been around for 24 years. We help low-income seniors of Cherokee County with minor home repairs. We actually partner with Habitat sometimes to get some repairs done. We also help with financial assistance, whether it be maybe utility assistance, rent assistance. We're seeing a lot more seniors that are being pushed out due to the rent rates that have gone up. I was just at a housing forum meeting this morning. It is across the nation a big problem with our housing market. Cherokee County's not excluded from that. We need to see more housing, not just for seniors, but all workforce as well. Because your teachers, if they're single, they're having a hard time affording to purchase a house. The gentleman, Mike Stott, I believe it was, who's the president of the Cherokee County Realtors Association, was saying that there was only, I believe, 23 houses in Cherokee County that were $300,000 or less. And only 2 were move-in ready. So we really need to push and talk to our legislators, our city officials, our county officials, and work on getting more affordable or attainable housing, whatever words you want to put for it, because everyone should be able to find a place to call home. And I think we need to work harder on different ways of doing that. So, because like I said, we get a lot of calls every day into senior services, and there's a lot of people that are just, like I said, being pushed out of where they live, and they're asking us to help them pay for their motel. So, and those are people that are low income. So, anyway, we appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to December and you guys learning more. We're doing these because we just want to educate you guys. Like Alvin gets calls here a lot on, a lot of different questions. So we just kind of partnered together and hope we could answer some of the things that you might have. If you ever have anything that you want to learn about, let us know. We'd be happy to find someone to come up here and educate you and get you as much information as you want or need. So we're hoping that every vendor that was here, that you got their information. We appreciate all of them that come out. And have a good night. And don't forget to see them. If you didn't see them earlier, stop by their table and get the information you need. All right? Thank you.